Hello and welcome to another episode of Children's Moments here on Heaven We're Thinking. Today we're back with another object lesson, so I'm going to turn it over to Miss Ruth and she's going to get us started this week.
I was finding some object lessons, Timothy, to go with going through storms and tough times in our lives. So we have a picture of the storm behind us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have hope in the midst of the storm. What do you see in that picture?
The lighthouse.
The lighthouse, hope in the midst of the storm. Well, today's first one, we're going to do a little taste test.
Okay.
So you're going to be my brave taste tester. I have two white substances on the plate here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take your finger and you're going to taste test this one first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. You might have to lick your finger or something. Okay, how did that one taste?
Good.
Okay, would you say that, what would you use as a word to describe that one?
Sweet.
Okay, so that's sweet. So what do you think that substance is?
Sugar.
Sugar, okay. We like a lot of sugar, right?
We do.
We like things that are sweet. We like times in our lives that are sweet. Time with our family, happy times, holidays, birthdays, presents, vacations, all those good sweet times, right? Okay, now I want you to taste test the other side of the plate here. Get a good amount. All right.
Ugh.
How is that one taste, Timothy?
Oh, very awful.
What do you think that one is?
Salt.
Yes, that is salty. Do you need to take a sip of water here before we
Yes,
go on?
that's terrible.
So, salt and sugar. Which one do you think has more benefits?
The salt?
The salt. Exactly. Salt has more benefits than sugar, even though we'd rather taste the sugar, right? So salt can remind us of difficult times. Let me tell you some benefits of table salt. Salt enhances other flavors. I was cooking dinner tonight and some of my recipes had salt in it with some of the other seasonings, and it enhances them, makes it taste better. Salt also has healing properties to it. It can be used to preserve other foods, right? So salt is actually, it has a lot more benefits than the sweet. So that's kind of like the tough times in our lives. Can have a lot of benefits in our life, even though we prefer the sweet times, the easier times. The salt represents our hard times, difficult things, and salt, those hard times, can strengthen us in our faith. They can cause us to lean onto God more for strength. They can help us appreciate the good times, and they can equip us or help us get ready to help other people going through tough times. So there's a lot of benefits to the trials of life. There's a couple verses I'd like to, I bet you could quote one of them for us. Can you quote Romans 8:28, please?
I mean, all things, God works for the good of those who love him, for those who are called according to his purpose.
Very good. So even the salty, tough times, God can use for our good, right? And here's a good one to remind you after you had to do that taste test. Psalm 34:8 says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him." So we know God is good even in the tough times. Another object lesson that would go with this, I heard recently in a Bible study I was in about somebody who was watering their yard every day. And the yard wasn't very healthy. The grass wasn't very healthy. Well, they found out from somebody who had knowledge about that grass that gets watered all the time doesn't have a good deep root. Grass that doesn't get watered all the time has a deeper root because it has to fight harder to survive. So that kind of reminds us of the tough times. If we didn't have any salty times in our life, we wouldn't develop those roots that would help us grow in our faith.
Absolutely. So we got to remember to see God in those hard times and see the benefits in those hard times. Well, I hope you've been encouraged by this and you'll join us next time for another episode of Children's Moments here on Heaven We're Thinking.